At the time of making this video, the Indiana Fever are currently 2-5. But what's interesting is they only have one bad loss this year, which was against the New York Liberty. This has me wondering, are the Indiana Fever really a below 30% win team, or is the losing strategic? Next year's draft class is stacked after all. Indiana Fever had 3 straight close games where they lost. They were against the Connecticut Sun, Las Vegas Aces, and the Chicago Sky. But what's weird about this is that these teams are literally the best teams in basketball, and Indiana could have won all 3 of these games. I'll start with the Connecticut Sun game. On the surface, there's no reason to think Indiana did anything intentional here. The Sun had control most of the fourth quarter, and it was out of reach until the Fever made a late run towards the end. Sure, Lexi Hull missed a wide-open 3, but her three-point shot has always been inconsistent in the WNBA. I don't think Christy Sides secretly told her to miss that shot or anything like that, but the Aces game is where it gets interesting. If haven't seen my video on 3 things the Indiana Fever can do to be better, I suggest you check it out. 2 big points I made were to play Grace Berger and Queen Egbo more because the team looks so much better. A few days after making that video, they blow the game versus the Aces. The third quarter ends 63-56. Pay attention to who is in the game currently. Sides keeps rolling with this lineup in the fourth. As you can see, Mitchell makes a 3, increasing the lead to 10. She makes subs shortly after. Look what happens next. Christy, what are you doing? The starters are getting run up and down the floor. I don't care if they are the starters. If they aren't playing well on the bench, they shouldn't be in the game at that moment. A counter argument someone will make is, well, the bench needs to rest. I would buy that if the bench players didn't sit the rest of the game. What's crazy is the only bench player who was still in the game was Christy Wallace, arguably the least impactful. But it gets worse. The Fever still have a chance to win the game, but they completely blow it. Look how terrible this defensive position is. Number 1, you need a stop, not more points. So why aren't the best defenders in the game? Second of all, why in the heck are they leaving the paint so exposed? This type of out-of-bounds pass defense is usually ran when you are trying to stop a team from shooting a 3. The paint is typically exposed because the team knows they will shoot a 3. All it takes is a good screen and the Aces will get a wide-open layup. And this is exactly what happens. We aren't done. This final possession says it all. Mitchell completely smokes the wide-open layup. How does this happen? The worst part is that Mitchell easily could have dropped it off to Boston for an even easier layup. This is just impossibly bad. So much had to happen for them to lose this game, and it does. Now you're probably thinking there's nothing intentional going on here. They just got nervous and made mistakes. I thought that too, until I saw the Sky game end almost the same exact way. Erica Wheeler was actually having a good game, but towards the end, Erica Wheeler starts Erica Wheeling. I blame Christy Sides for the loss more than Erica though. Aaliyah Boston was having an amazing night. Moments before Indiana's final possession, we see Wheeler give her an assist for an easy bucket. A few moments later, Victoria makes a similar play. So, on the final possession, we should draw a play up for Aaliyah Boston, right? No. Instead, Wheeler takes the ball herself and misses. Thankfully, Boston saves the game. It's almost like they are trying to lose. Why on earth would they not set up Boston down low? They had more than enough time to set something up for. But it gets better. Remember that Aces possession where they left the paint exposed for an easy cut? Surely they learned their lesson, right? Am I crazy, or these are literally mirror plays of each other? Chicago gets an easy layup tying the game, sending it to overtime. Remember when Mitchell missed an easy layup, where she also could have passed it to Aaliyah Boston? Well, look at this. Wheeler misses an easy layup. And while Boston isn't as open as she was in the Aces game, a good pass still would have got the ball to her. Dana Evans ends the game with a dagger 3 instead. Maybe it's a coincidence, but I don't think so. I mean, come on, how does the same thing happen twice in a row in back-to-back games? I think these are calculated mistakes. No one will question them because they were against teams that Indiana wasn't expected to beat anyway. Of course, that begs the question, why would they lose games on purpose? Because Caitlin Clark is a generational talent with no true WNBA equivalent. Not only is she super talented, she is the perfect answer to Indiana's problems. The Fever need better three-point shooting, playmaking, and a consistent go-to-scoring option. Caitlin Clark excels at all of these things. It's going to be a tight race to get a lottery pick chance. Winning or losing one game can make all the difference. The Fever are at the bottom of the standings in the Eastern Conference, but that won't be enough. The Storm and Lynx recently had franchise players retire, so they are in rebuild mode. And the Mercury are just blatantly tanking. There's no reason they should be as bad as they are, but that's a topic for another day. Now you're probably thinking, what about the Minnesota game? They didn't throw that on purpose. The Lynx are almost certain to draft Paige Bueckers if they got the number one pick. She would be a hometown hero, and the Lynx historically love UConn players. The Storm and Mercury are the teams Indiana has to worry about. It will be hard for the Fever to have worse records than them, which is why I believe Indiana's 3-game losing streak was intentional. The losses could easily be the deciding factor in their draft pick placement. The Fever and Mercury play today, so it will be interesting to see what happens. It's a game where both teams benefit from losing. The only way it wouldn't be worth it for the Fever to tank is if Caitlin and Paige decide to use their extra year of eligibility. Cameron Brink is a really good player, but not one worth throwing an entire season over. I think Indiana knows exactly what they're doing, and I don't blame them. The odds of them winning a championship are almost zero, so why not put yourself in position to get a player that makes the Fever championship level? If Indiana didn't lose these games on purpose, they need to do some serious soul-searching. But what do you think? Do you believe this is calculated tanking or just late-game mistakes? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.